Hey everyone, welcome into our latest Trade to Black podcast. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and today we're going to tackle a question that's generating real debate across the pond. Should the UK legalize cannabis? Some may say, yes, of course. And the reasons why? Well, from economic opportunity to public health concerns, the controversy is heating up. So with that, let's break it all down. So let's first begin with where the UK stands today. Right now, cannabis is classified as a Class B drug in the UK, meaning possession can land you with a 5-year prison sentence, and a supply or production can mean up to 14 years. But the irony, the UK is one of the world's biggest exporters of medical cannabis, thanks to companies like GW Pharmaceuticals. So let me get this straight. The UK grows it, exports it, profits from it, but its own citizens can't access without jumping through red tape. That's raising serious questions. So let's start with the pro-legalization side, and spoiler alert, the numbers speak volumes. First, the economic boost. Legal cannabis could be worth €1.5 billion annually to the UK economy. That's based on tax revenue, job creation, and market growth. Then there's criminal justice savings, because right now the UK spends nearly €500 million a year enforcing cannabis laws. Legalization could significantly reduce that burden. Then there's public health regulation. With legalization comes control over potency, labeling, age restrictions, and quality assurance. Right now, consumers are in the dark. Something I also want to add too is that according to a 2023 YouGov poll, 53% of UK adults support legalizing cannabis for recreational use, and another 77% support medical use. So the public mood is shifting, especially among younger voters, which we're seeing in a number of countries. But of course, not everyone is on board. Opponents argue that legalization could, one, increase youth use, exacerbate mental health issues, and normalize drug culture. In fact, the British Medical Association has warned about links between high-potency cannabis and psychosis, especially in vulnerable young adults. And some MPs argue that legal cannabis might overwhelm the NHS with new public health burdens. But here's the thing, those concerns aren't unfounded, but we've also seen how regulated markets in places like Canada, Germany, and even certain US states have responded to those challenges. So who's pushing this forward? The Liberal Democrats and Green Party both support full legalization. Labor is more cautious, leaning towards decriminalization and medical expansion. The Conservatives, meanwhile, still mostly opposed. For example, in 2022, former Tory Minister Crispin Blunt publicly called for cannabis legalization, becoming the first Conservative MP to do so, but he's an outlier. Meanwhile, the UK's Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, launched a cannabis commission to explore reform, citing models like in New York and California. So we'll see how this progresses. So next up, what can the UK learn from countries that have already gone down this road? First up, and no surprise, is right next door, Germany. They legalized possession and eliminated cultivation in 2024. They focused on regulation and education. Then there's Canada, where it's been legal since 2018. Mixed results? Yes, but it's an industry, and not only an industry, a billion-dollar industry, and it's growing. Meanwhile, over in Asia, there's Thailand. They legalized it, but then walked it back, showing what happens without proper regulatory framework. The lesson? Legalization without structure leads to chaos, but legalization with the right guardrails can drive economic growth and public health reform. So really, here's the truth. The status quo isn't working. The illegal cannabis market in the UK is thriving, and consumers are exposed to unregulated, unsafe products, something we know all too well here in America, especially with the hemp industry. Meanwhile, patients with chronic pain, epilepsy, PTSD, they're left fighting for access to medical cannabis, or even worse, self-medicating illegally. The fact of the matter is this, the world is changing. Germany, Malta, the US, even parts of Asia, and yet the UK, one of the largest producers of medical cannabis, still keeps its own people locked out. Is it time for that to change? I think the answer would be overwhelmingly yes if you ask a lot of UK people, especially when 77% support medical cannabis. So what do you all think? Should the UK legalize cannabis? We'd love to keep this conversation going, so leave your comments below. And as usual, if you have time, make sure to like, subscribe, and smash on that bell for all notifications, and stay connected with us here at the Trade to Black podcast. It's a big topic, and I think the world is changing, and it's time for the UK to make that necessary step, and I think many of you might agree or disagree. Again, we'd love to get your feedback. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and like I always say, stay open-minded, stay connected, and I'll see you next time on our latest Trade to Black podcast. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and thanks again for watching.